Alright, hey guys, so I am back for my wax reviews video. This is going to be my what I melted video for the week of the 14th to the 23rd. I do have to say on the 23rd I didn't melt anything because I was out all day, and at night I was just too tired to melt anything. I didn't want to smell anything, so yeah, this is just the stuff that I melted from Friday to the Thursday. And I guess I'll just pull stuff out and we'll just get started. So the first thing here is this bakery bags in Gilmore Girls from L3, and they're in her little shapes. So when you order bakery bags from L3, you don't get to choose the shapes. She just gives you a random shape, and then she gives you enough of the shapes that it fulfills the ounce requirements. So I got these cute little flowers, cute little purple flowers, and this is in the fragrance, I blended it, it's pomegranate, watermelon, and fresh strawberry. And her watermelon is quite creamy actually. It's almost like there's honeydew in here, that's how creamy it actually is. It's nice. It's a nice overall scent. And I do get a watermelon, but it's quite creamy and sweet that it kind of actually reminds me of honeydew. When I was melting it, I actually thought, oh, this is a really nice honeydew scent. And I forgot completely it was a watermelon scent. But regardless, it's a good fragrance. I do like it. I just wish it was more of a tart watermelon than a kind of creamy scent, because it really does remind me of honeydew. It's not really the watermelon I was going for, but it's still good, and the throw was really strong, so that was really nice. Love Jennifer's wax. It always throws amazing for me. Then I have Pink Peppermint by Tiffany Candles, and I melted this. No, actually I melted this one last night. I lied, because today is Saturday. I'm filming this Saturday. I'm going to upload it possibly Sunday, maybe Monday. But yeah, this is Tiffany Candles Pink Peppermint, and I keep these bags. I either keep them inside the bags, inside other polypropylene zip bags, or I'll take them out and put them in zip bags, because I don't know, I just don't think that these bags really hold in scent very well. Even though they're still polypropylene, there's just way for like scent to escape. I don't know, maybe I'm just looking into it too much, but this is, I don't know if she started Pink Peppermint, but I do know she is one of the few vendors that carried this scent at the original time. And not only that, but she, I think, had one of the most popular Pink Peppermints. Like, I don't know if she originated Pink Peppermint. I genuinely don't know. I don't want to say she did if she didn't, but I remember that all of the original like vendor wax YouTubers, like the owner of Vintage Chic Scents, Kirby, she used to have a YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys know this, but I used to watch her YouTube channel, and she would always rave about Pink Peppermint. Who else? Like, oh god, I forgot her name, but there were just a bunch of OG, like, candle reviewers at the time, and they all raved about Tiffany's Pink Peppermint. Like, hers, if it wasn't the original, it was the most popular, and it is the most popular for a reason. It's just such a good balance of the two. Neither one of them overpower each other. It's just a really good, very, I wouldn't say an herbal or intense peppermint. It is like a real peppermint. It's not like a sweet peppermint. It's not a creamy peppermint. It's definitely a full-on peppermint, like kind of a peppermint oil, and then the pink sugar is there. It's just, if you've never smelled pink peppermint, you just don't know. It's just very good, and Tiffany's Candles is always a high throw for me, and there was no difference last night. It was amazing. I will say, though, that this one was actually a disappointment. This is Tiffany Candles China Rain, and let me see if I can find the scent description. I do have like a little like notebook that I write what I thought of them in. So China Rain is rose, wisteria, cyclamen, sandalwood, vanilla. Yeah, sandalwood and vanilla. So it's a bunch of florals, and then there's sandalwood and vanilla. This one is definitely on cold a floral with a sandalwood. However, on warm, it is very, very powdery. Like, you don't smell a powdery scent. You smell a slight powdery scent, maybe from the floral when it's cold, but when it's warm, it's so powdery. It just smells like baby powder almost, mixed with like floral scents. I don't know. It's just not, I'm not a fan. It's not very good. And also, it was decently a weak. It was a low to a medium low. It was there, but it wasn't really doing much, if you catch my drift. Like, and this scent itself is quite light already, so it was just hard to smell in general. Sometimes I actually forgot that I had it in for a while, and when I was trying to smell it, I had to really sniff the air, and it didn't do anything, so I dumped it after like an hour of melting it, because it just didn't smell like anything. It was really a disappointment with that one. And that's like the only Tiffany Candles fragrance I've ever tried that has not performed for me, so that's actually quite disappointing for me. But I will say that it is, one, it's older wax, it's more than a year old, and two, it is her softer wax. I do find her paraffin wax, I like her softer wax, but I don't know, maybe her softer wax just doesn't last as long, or isn't as, I don't know, isn't as strong as her paraffin wax, because she does have two different types of waxes. She has her hard wax that she uses for her fluted tarts, her teddy tarts, and I think her hearts, I'm not sure though, and then she has a softer wax that she uses for her loaves, her shapes and cuttables and stuff like that. For her little customizable grab bags, she uses her softer wax. So she has two different kinds of wax that she uses, but I just think China Rain, the scent itself, is just soft, so that's why I also probably didn't get a throw. I don't know. Next up, I have Kay's Creations, which is such a slept-on vendor. I absolutely love her stuff. Her stuff is amazing. Like, I mean amazing. Everything that I've ever melted from her is so strong. Like, she has just the regular fluted tarts, like they're this size, but actually, are they smaller? No, they're basically the size of Tiffany Candles ones, and I can get away with only melting half, and it'll still be a medium high to high throw. If I throw in the full thing, it is definitely high throw. So strong. But Tropical Cake is, I don't have the full description, but it's like a citrus cake. I think it's like an orange and cake scent, but it is so good. It is not a super sugary orange juice orange. It's more just kind of like a very buttery, creamy cake, and then with a slight citrusy orange note to it, just to give it that little hint of like zest to it. It's so good. This was really good. I would totally purchase that in a large amount. I just don't know if Kay's Creations is still a company that is making wax, because I know their website is open, but the owner hasn't posted on any of her social medias at all since like the beginning of 2017, so I don't know if that company is even still in action. So I want to place a purchase, but I'm kind of afraid to place a purchase, and everything is made to order, so her RTS is, I think, about a month or so, I'm not sure. But yeah, then I have Made Man, and this is by VCS, and this is from 2015, which is quite old, but everyone says that vintage scents gets better with age, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because every time I order something from her and I melt it right away, I get really good throw, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I just had a good warmer. I don't know. But I've always had good performance with VCS most of the time. And this wax is no exception. Made Man is so good. It is, I believe it is grape, pineapple, and strawberry. Yeah, grape, pineapple, and strawberry. And it is such a good scent. I did not think I was going to like this, because I'm not a big fan of pineapple. Not that I don't like pineapple, but it's just, for me, it's not one of those scents where I'm like, yes, I need a lot of it. I want that fragrance in wax. It's one of those scents that if it's there, I appreciate it. It's kind of nice, maybe sometimes if it's put in a scent really well, but otherwise it's not necessarily a fragrance note that I personally adore. I just think it's a little too intense for my taste. It's a little too heady, a little bit too zesty, if that makes sense, because you know that pineapple scent, it's just so kind of in your face. It's that sharp note that pineapple has, but this one is different because the grape is quite sweet. It makes this really different. It's actually quite, like, it's quite creamy, it's quite sweet. It just kind of smells like a really, really nice creamy kind of juice or a creamy cocktail kind of scent. I don't know, the grape, I don't like grape either, so imagine like two things that I'm not too fond of in a scent, and I love it. It's just so good. I think grape and pineapple work really well together because grape is just itself a very, very sweet scent, and pineapple is quite a zesty scent, and mixed together, I think they just balance each other out for whatever reason. This is amazing, and it threw pretty well. Let me see. Yeah, it threw decently. It was about a medium throw in general. It wasn't too strong, but it wasn't like, it's not that I couldn't smell it, but it wasn't like blow me out of the room strong. It was there, like I could smell it. Then I have Twinkies by Hailey's Heavenly Scents, which has recently been, the company and the recipes and everything has recently been purchased by someone else because the owner of Hailey's Heavenly Scents passed away after battling with cancer, I believe. So Hailey's Heavenly Scents it's not a company that's still being run, but in a way it is, because all the fragrances and the wax is going to be, I guess, sold by someone else. But I don't think that it'll ever be the same, and who knows if the new owner will keep things the way they used to be, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm debating on whether or not I will make a purchase from her when the new owner opens up the shop for what used to be Hailey's Heavenly Scents, and I believe she's going to change the name as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's just such a like a sad and weird topic. It's almost like, I don't know, it's almost uncomfortable because I don't know. Anyways, I love Hailey's Heavenly Scents wax. It is the most reasonably priced, one of, if not the most reasonably priced. I mean, I remember she had some of the cheapest wax on the market, and she has had the most extensive fragrance list ever. She just amazing. Literally, Hailey's Heavenly Scents is amazing, and I'm so sad if you are someone who was not able to purchase from her. But rant over. Twinkies is just a really, really good buttery, it's just a really, really good buttery vanilla cream scent. It's very, very buttery, cakey scent. Was that even English? It's a very buttery, cakey scent with a slight like vanilla cream note to it. It's really, really nice. However, I probably would not melt this on its own. If I were to melt this, I would definitely blend it with something. But what I did do was I did melt half of it on its own, and then I realized this was more, even though I enjoyed it, it was definitely more of a blending scent. Like this on its own, it was just too buttery. It was just too much buttery cake for one room, so I decided to blend it with something else. So I had melted, that was the last thing I melted in the living room that day, and then I ended up the next day waking up, and the first thing I put in was Snape, which is Magically Delicious sugar cookies and cinnamon sugar, and I melted 1 cube of it and mixed together. I honestly don't know if I liked it or not. I'm not the biggest fan of cinnamon. Sometimes I like cinnamon depending on what it is. the way it's blended, if it's blended well. If it's overpowering, I don't like it. If it's too cinnamon stick, I don't like it. If it's red hot, I don't like it. I need cinnamon to be either very creamy or very sweet, or just well blended enough that it doesn't overpower everything else. I need cinnamon to be balanced, is basically what I'm saying. Like, I can't have a strong cinnamon scent, or else I kind of get headaches and I get kind of queasy a little bit. I don't know. I'm just not huge on cinnamon, so I'm quite particular about my cinnamon. And on cold, it does smell nice. Like, it is definitely a cinnamon, but you get more of the Magically Delicious and sugar cookies on cold. Like, whatever that Magically Delicious and that sugar cookies is, that is nice. And that's, even though the cinnamon sugar is strong, the Magically Delicious and sugar cookies are strong enough to compete with it. However, once I warm it, it is very strong on the cinnamon, and the sugar cookies, it does come out, but it gets very heavy, and I don't do well with heavy bakery. Heavy bakery gives me migraines. It also makes me feel nauseous. So this was a heavy bakery, and it was just giving me a migraine after a while. Even after I mixed it with Twinkies, it was still strong. The only difference was it was just a lot more buttery. So it was like a really buttery cinnamon sugar cookie scent, which to some people might sound amazing, but for me it was just way too much. And mixing the two, because they're both such strong like scents, and Super Tarts and Haley's Heavenly Scents both have intense, strong throws. Putting them together, it literally blew me out of my house, I swear to God. And I am telling you, for about 2 days straight, even after melting other things, my living room still had the lingering scent of cinnamon bakery, which might sound really nice to some people, but I'm telling you, it was not. Not because I'm not a fan of cinnamon or a fan of heavy bakery, no. It wasn't nice because my living room ended up smelling like a cinnamony bakery scent, but that has gone sour. So it smelled like I had cinnamon, some kind of cinnamon cookie dough sitting out on my table, and I've had it sitting out for 3 weeks. It smelled foul and it smelled sour. It just smelled funky. It was just not a good time. It was not a good time. Thank God that scent is gone. Thank God. So, then I have Vintage Chic Scents Sweetheart Smoothie Roses and Flapper Girl Overpour. Sweetheart Smoothie is her marshmallow smoothie scent, and then Flapper Girl is her appletini scent. Now, this one, I really love that, because the appletini, I actually don't get a fizzy note from it. It's not, when people told me that it was fizzy on the VCS group when I was talking about it, I was just like, what? Because I don't smell it, because the marshmallow smoothie is so creamy and quite sweet that the carbonated scent that appletini had doesn't exist anymore. And so I was actually shocked to find out that it's a carbonated scent. And even trying to sniff for it, I couldn't really smell that. So I thought that was really interesting and funny. But no, it's a good one. It is strong. Let me see if it is not a super strong throw like Haley's 70 Cents or Super Tarts, but it's definitely a medium to high throw, and the scent itself is just really good. I will say that for some reason this time around, it did get a little bit sickly after a while. It could have just been the green apple mixing with the sweetness of the marshmallow, that after a while it just started to smell a little bit cough syrupy. It was getting a little bit sickly sweet, so I did turn it off after a while. I don't know. I normally really like that fragrance. I don't know what it was this time around. I don't know. I feel like my nose just keeps changing. So the next one that I melted is Hotline Bling. Oh, that's not even the camera. It's Hotline Bling from Rose Girls, and Hotline Bling is a blend of lemon biscotti, cotton candy frosting, raspberry sauce with watermelon slush overpour. And this is what the chunks look like. And this is the kind of watermelon that I wish that L3 used. Not to say anything bad about L3, I love L3, but this watermelon slush scent is amazing. It's that kind of tart watermelon, slightly juicy watermelon. It's just a good overall watermelon scent. And the chunk that I used was kind of like this chunk, but it was only raspberry sauce, like it only had the raspberry sauce chunks, so it was really just raspberry sauce and watermelon slush. And I don't know what it is about Hotline Bling, but even when you smell it just in the bag, it's not a very strong fragrance. I don't know if it's the I don't know if it's the watermelon slush overpour. Maybe the watermelon slush itself is a more subdued scent, but there's something about it that's very soft smelling, like it's not a very intense scent even on cold sniff. And then you warm it, and the throw was good, like it was a medium high throw. You could definitely smell it throughout the room that I melted it in. However, because the fragrance itself is quite a soft fragrance, you couldn't really, not that you couldn't smell it, but it wasn't very in your face. Like, it wasn't like, oh, this is what I'm smelling. It was kind of like, it just kind of smelled, you could kind of smell it, but it was soft. So it filled the room, so the throw was good, but the actual scent itself is not a strong scent, so it kind of lightly perfumed the room, if you know what I'm saying. I just wish it was stronger, because that is such a good blend. I don't know why it's not strong. And it's not because it's older. It's from April of 2016. It's not because it's a year old. It's always been like this. Even when I first got it, this one, for some reason, it's never been super strong for me. And then I have Mango Sorbet by Tiffany Candles. I melted a full little tart here. And Mango Sorbet is, I believe it's like mango, raspberry, lemon. I think that's the blend. But it's a fragrance oil that most vendors sell. So if you've smelt it from one vendor, you've probably smelt it from the other. It's the same scent all around. And it's one of my favorite fruity fragrances. It's definitely not my favorite, but it's one fruity fragrance that I really like, and I actually forgot how much I liked it until I melted it. It was just so good. It's such a juicy, slightly tart, but sweet, just fruity scent. It's really good. Really good. Really like Mango Sorbet, and it was a 5 out of 5. It was in throw. I mean, it was very strong, very high throw. Tiffany Candles, always throwing good. And then I have L3's Black Raspberry Lemonade, Lime Cooler, and Lemon Curd. And this one says 2015, but it's actually 2016. I don't know what happened, but I think her label maker just, like, I don't know what happened, but she probably just might have inputted 2015 instead of 2016. But I know this was I definitely received this in 2016. But this one, let me see. This one is quite sweet on cold. Like, when you sniff it, it's just quite sugary. It's very much a black raspberry, limey, drinky scent. It's very sweet. However, on warm, I actually really liked it, and I melted only a fourth of it, as you can see. It was so good. The lemon curd came out more, and it did still smell like candy, because that black raspberry lemonade is still quite very sweet. But the lemon curd came out more, and then it just started to smell kind of like a lemon black raspberry hard candy, you know, like those kind of hard candies with the lemon that's a little bit sour, but it's still quite sweet, and then you add in like a sugary black raspberry. That's kind of what it smelled like it would be. It was really nice. I actually really liked that, and it was a 5 out of 5 throw, really strong. The next thing I melted is Super Tarts Dumbledore Apple. It's Mac Apple, Pink Chiffon, Blue Sugar, and Cotton Candy. Now, I melted 1 cube of it, so I have 2 clamshells here, and I melted 1 cube off of this clamshell here. and I have to say, not my favorite. A lot of times when she does her blends, she'll say apple, but she doesn't always say Mac apple, and then I get it and I realize it's a Mac apple, and I'm just like, oh goddamn, because I don't like Mac apple. So sometimes she lists that it's a Mac apple, or sometimes she'll just say apple, and I'll think it's not Mac apple, and I get it and it's most definitely Mac apple, and I get really, really upset. Because so at the time she put a list, it was a time when she was still doing pre-orders. So she did pre-orders on the Harry Potter clams, and she put out Dumbledore, and she didn't say Mac apple, she just said apple. And so I thought, ooh, that sounds nice. I got it. It's Mac apple. And when you smell it, it's mainly Mac apple pink chiffon on cold, and then you melt it. The blue sugar and the cotton candy definitely come out. It smells a lot sweeter, a lot muskier, but it is still quite a perfumey kind of scent because of the pink chiffon. It's a nice blend, but at the same time I don't really like it because of the Mac apple. Like Mac apple itself gives me a headache, and melting this gave me a headache. Like, it was nice for the first hour, and then after that it just gave me a raging headache. Like, I couldn't deal with it, so I had to turn it off. I don't know if Super Tarts is just too strong, but I don't know. Every time I melt Super Tarts, I get a migraine. Speaking of migraine and Super Tarts, this is mouse ears. So I ordered 6 clams, and then I put into this bag because I thought I would like it. And I love lemon scents. I am a lemon lover. Let me tell you, I love me some good lemon scents, but this one I don't like, because it's lemonade and lollipops, but her lemonade scent is just the Fizzy Pops fragrance oil, maybe mixed with like a lemon fragrance oil, but it's mostly Fizzy Pops. And Fizzy Pop, the scent, I don't like. I was thinking this was just going to be a generic, maybe tart sweet lemon, but no, it was Fizzy Pop. That Fizzy Pop fragrance oil, the reason I don't like it is because it reminds me of when I was a little kid back in the 90s, and my mom would buy like these plastic containers, and the top would have holes in them, and inside of these containers were scented liquid with like these weird kind of jelly balls that sat in them that kind of jiggled around, and it would smell like lemon lime, and that's what this smells like to me. And it literally, I hate that smell. I've always hated that smell. I hated it since I was a little girl, and I've hated it now. It is disgusting. I don't like the Fizzy Pop scent. It is literally that exact same smell, but with a fizzy note to it, but that really doesn't change much. And so I don't like Fizzy Pops. It actually like reminds me almost of car sickness at the same, I don't know. I just don't like it. I've never liked that scent. And when I got it, I was so disappointed. I packaged it up in this bag and I put it to the side. Like, I literally put it in a cabinet far, far away in the back so I would never have to look at it again. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I tried a cube of it, surprisingly warm. I liked it. And I'm not saying that like, oh, this is the first time I used it so I liked it. No, I've used it once before, and that first time I did not like it. The second time around, I actually liked it though, which is interesting. So it was super, super strong. I melted it for about an hour. I turned it off after the hour, but because it was so strong, it obviously, the scent stayed in my room. And 2 hours, like another hour after I turned it off, I started to get a migraine because it was just so strong. It was so in my face, and at this point I was trying to fall asleep and I was just getting a migraine, and it just wasn't pretty. I don't know, maybe her stuff's just too strong for me, but I literally used 1 cube. I don't know, maybe her stuff is just not for small spaces, but I didn't, like, this was the one time I used it for small spaces. I used it at night before I was going to go to bed. Other times I use Super Tarts, I've always used them in my living room, so I don't know, it's just, maybe it's her wax, I genuinely don't know, but that one kind of gave me a headache after a while. And so it's definitely, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, Fizzy Pops, I don't like it, but it's not a scent that I like hate. Like, I can put up with Fizzy Pops, and when I melted it, I did enjoy it enough to not turn it off, but I definitely didn't enjoy it enough to repurchase it or melt through this whole bag. I'm definitely probably going to hand some off to my friends, or I might destash some of this. I don't know. It's too much. Like, if I had one clam in it, then I would power my way through it. But I have a whole bag of 6 clams of it. So that's just not a thing that's happening. Next thing I melted is this one. You can't see the label, it's inside. But this is an L3 blend. It is black cherry. It's cherry lemonade, lemon curd, and Bite Me. And Bite Me and cherry lemonade are obviously both cherry scents, and then there's lemon curd. I've melted this 3 times before. I melted the last little fourth of it. So L3 I always melt in fourths, so I had like one little mini cube of it left. And what that mini cube is maybe half an ounce, maybe even less. And so it was a really, really strong throw. However, this time around, it was more cherry than it was lemon, which is really interesting. Because before in the past when I would melt it, it was so strong in the lemon curd. I don't know if I just got a chunk that had less lemon curd in it. But it was quite a sweet cherry scent. It wasn't bad at all. I quite liked it. But it definitely wasn't the citrusy lemon curd that I was looking for. It was just much sweeter, a lot more cherry. Then I have the Bathing Gardens Poppets Coaster Ride, and Poppets Coaster Ride is lemon curd, strawberry peach jam, and raspberry cake, I think. And this is a good one. I really love it. I melted 1 cube of it, and this was so strong. I'm telling you, I put it in, it melted fully, and for about 10 to 15 minutes I didn't smell anything. And so I went downstairs to eat my lunch. I ate my lunch, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. Came back upstairs. This was so strong. It had filled up the entire living room. It filled up the hallway to the bedroom. It was just so strong. Like, I was so surprised. I know that Bathing Garden, like, I've never had a bad experience melting Bathing Garden. She's always been a decent medium throw. But I was so surprised that it filled up, 1 cube filled up an entire living room and an entire hallway. That's crazy. This stuff was really good. Really love that stuff. And it's just such a good, juicy, fruity lemon curd scent. It's that classic tart lemon with a slight sweetness scent. And then it was a little bit bakery, but it's mostly like a juicy, fruity lemon scent. So if you like lemon scents, if you like fruity scents, I would really recommend that. If you're looking for a really good bakery scent, I probably wouldn't recommend that, because it's definitely more fruity and lemony than it is bakery. But if you're a fruity lover, I would really recommend that, because it's not too heavy on the bakery whatsoever. Then I have this one from Storybook Scents, and it's in the scent Combo 4, and this was for a pre-order that she did. And Combo 4 is a mixture of 2 of her fragrances. It is a mixture of, let me see. It is a mixture of Mrs. Potts, which is vanilla, banana, orange, and blueberry, and Hannah, which is cake, buttercream, cotton candy, kettle corn, and funnel cake. And so I had originally put in 1 cube, and I didn't really smell anything. And I didn't smell anything for 30 minutes. So I ended up putting in a 2nd cube, and after I put in a 2nd cube, then I could actually smell the fragrance. And it was stronger for sure. I could smell it, but it still wasn't a strong throw. So it was maybe like a light medium scent, because I could smell it. It definitely threw enough, but I wouldn't say it was a really strong throw. Storybook Scents has a very hit and miss throw. It's either pretty good or it's not there at all. And this one kind of sits somewhere in the middle. This one is mostly a bakery scent. Yeah, it's mostly that Hannah scent, which is that cake, buttercream, all those bakery scents, and a little bit of that banana I'm getting. So this is actually such a nice creamy bakery scent with a slight fruitiness to it, with slight banana fruitiness to it. It's really nice. This one is Storybook Scents Shield of Virtue, and I only melted one of this, and this one was actually really good. It wasn't a strong throw. It was more of a low to low medium throw. It didn't fill up a room, but I could smell it because I was sitting decently near it. It was sitting in the corner of my room, and I was at my desk, which is like maybe like 2 meters away from the corner. So I was about, like, if you're thinking about feet, I was maybe 5, 6, 7 feet away from the warmer. Yeah? Does that sound about right? I think maybe. I don't know. But I wasn't too far away from it, so I could smell it, but if I walked to the other end of my room, I definitely could not smell it. But this is an aquatic scent. This is, let me see. This is ozone, sea salt spray, seaweed, driftwood, and water lily. Yeah. This is a nice, fresh, clean aquatic. And it smells basically the same on cold as it does on warm. I don't really want to spend too much time talking about Storybook Scents in general, just because you can't purchase from her anyways. She's no longer in business, so there's no point in rambling on about Storybook Scents. But yeah, those were kind of not necessarily disappointing, but I mean that's kind of what I expected from the company anyways. Then I have two Sniff My Tarts, which are the two last things I melted this week. So we have Cotton Candy Pomegranate Honeydew. Amazing. Her pomegranate is so good. It's a tart, juicy pomegranate. So good. Through so strong. And the honeydew, her honeydew is really nice. It's not overly sweet. It's not floral either. It's just such a good blend. Filled up the entire room. Smelt it on the stairs. A great blend. This is my favorite blend of the week, actually. This is Strawberry Daiquiri, Mango Sorbet, and Tangerine Coconut Marshmallow Cake. And this one is amazing. It is a sweet citrus. It's creamy. There's not much of that marshmallow cake on cold. You really get marshmallow only in the creaminess to it. And on warm, you get mostly mango sorbet. You get that nice strawberry fruitiness, and then you get a nice soft bakery in the background. It is just such a good fruity bakery blend. This is amazing. If you guys are on her Sniff My Tarts customs list right now, you guys need to blend this. It is amazing. You have to try it. It is so good. So yeah, that is everything that I melted this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it took me a little long. Maybe eventually I'll be able to make it shorter, who knows. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my first ever melt with me videos. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!